Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome into the PrepSpin podcast. William Warfield here with you on a very, very snowy day. Everything canceled in the Bluegrass State as far as basketball goes, but that don't stop us here tonight. We sent out a tweet earlier today and said, hey, if anybody wants to, come on to the show tonight, and this is a spur-of-the-moment show. Matter of fact, we're using a brand-new computer behind us tonight for this show, so no bells and whistles, but we do got a great guest tonight, Coach Wyatt Foust of the Murray Tigers down in western Kentucky, and I do mean far western Kentucky, not quite Paducah, but pretty close to the Tennessee line. Southwest Kentucky, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But they got an awesome fan base, and when Coach Foust, he reached out to us, I said, man, we got to get him on. So Coach Foust is here with us tonight, and Coach, welcome into the show, and congratulations on a great season so far. Coach just froze up a little bit on us, it looks like. All right, so let's give him a second. He'll reconnect in, I'm sure. But Coach Foust, probably because of the snow, I would imagine down there, they get hit a little bit harder than we did here in Central Kentucky. But I'm pretty sure that Coach, there he is. I see him. He's reconnected there. So hopefully we'll stay smooth here the rest of the way. We'll see what happens, but. Coach, welcome into the show, and that snow is just causing all kinds of trouble as far as being able to play games here in the Bluegrass State, but also with technology. As you can see, our internet's kind of going in and out a little bit.
Yeah, we've it's really hurt us. This week is our All-A regional week, and it was scheduled to where we could play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but now it's got pushed to where we're looking at Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and if we're fortunate enough to get out, then, we planned on leaving on Tuesday, so it makes for a pretty short turnaround. But, yeah, we need to get in the gym and practice however we can get there.
Yeah, Coach, you all are having an outstanding season once again, and, I mean, it's expected out of your program with you guys building a history like you have over the years. Talk to me about this year's team.
Well, we wanted to make sure – we played as tough a schedule as we could. We set out our goals at the beginning of the season, and with part of that, we have a team that can compete at a state level and hopefully compete for a state championship. We needed to have a pretty tough schedule, and probably to meet that early on came from our 2 Christmas tournaments, which of course you guys were so great, did such a great job covering. Before Christmas, and then we hosted a tournament after Christmas. And as a host, normally you may give yourself an easy first round game or something like that, but we just we.
Yeah, Coach still having some connection problems down there in Western Kentucky, but 15-2 on the season. They were runner-up to male high school in the Lexington Catholic tournament. Coach was talking about that. They're getting ready to play in the All-A Classic coming up. And matter of fact, the regional's going on right now, so they are playing in that right now if they can get some of those games in. I'm going to bring it back to me for just a second and see if Coach can reconnect. The internet. Now we got fiber coming into the studio here at PrepSpin, but I would imagine that Coach is probably using his home internet, and it's probably not up to speed right now with all the snow and everything going on. So we're going to try it again here with Coach. There he is.
Coach, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's definitely probably the weather causing the issues there with the connection, but normally this thing is really smooth, I promise you. So it's definitely not your fault, I promise you. So we were talking about you touched base there about the All-A Classic coming up. I know you guys are playing in the regional right now, and talk to me about that, how tough it is for you, and maybe we can even fast forward and give a preview of what the state's going to look like.
Yeah, we've played a few of the. Well, we've played. With the All-A, they seed the tournament, and they seed it by your Lichtenhouse ratings. And we've played the number 2 and number 3 teams already this season, and we're won both of those games pretty comfortably. And I think this year, the our region is probably a little down compared to where it'll be in the future. I think there's some good young kids coming up in the A, but for right now, we feel pretty confident that we need to go out and play games. And of course, you don't want to look past anybody, and we won't. But if we do if we do represent the first region at the All A, we know that the first team that'll be waiting for our region is going to be Lee County. And Lee County had to upset a couple teams in their region to get there. But they've got a really good player averaging 26 points per game. And, I think our part of the bracket got a pretty tough draw. Just traditionally speaking, our first round game would be Region 14. But after that, there's a good chance the next 2 rounds are going to be against the 9th region, which has won it here in the past couple of years. The 3rd region is also on our bottom side of the bracket, and the 3rd region has won it in the last couple of years. I'd say, of the last, 5 All-A state champions, I'd say 4, if not all 5, came from the teams that are going to be representing those regions. So we've got a tough road to go if we're going to do it, but, we've got a team that we feel like definitely is capable. That's kind of one of our goals.
This program has won it in the past. I believe a couple of years ago, didn't you beat Owensboro Catholic? Of course, you wasn't the head coach at the time, I don't believe. But matter of fact, I believe it was Coach Turner. Is that right? Coach is frozen up a little bit again. Well, we were on a roll there for a second, and we'll see if Coach can connect again. Still trying to get Coach connected again here. I'd love to continue the conversation here with Coach Wyatt Foust of the Murray Tigers, the Lady Tigers down there in Murray, Kentucky. There he is. He's back. Coach, we got all that in. It's when I was getting ready to ask the next questions when we kind of went out there, but we were on the roll. So this All-A Classic that you guys have played in, we had talked a couple years ago. It was, I believe it was Coach. Was it Coach Turner? Was that her name?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and I believe it is how you say her first name, Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm not too far away from that, but they ended up beating Owensboro Catholic that particular year, and then last year the team made another Sweet 16 appearance in the state tournament, and this year you're looking to get the All-A Classic and then head back to the state tournament again. So a lot going on there with Murray basketball.
Sorry about that. Hopefully we stay connected for a little while.
You're good.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, Coach Turner, she did go up there. She won it, of course, that year. They did have to go through the 9th region in Newport Central Catholic, and then they beat the 3rd region in Owensboro Catholic. And, I think Owensboro Catholics had a good season. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they're right there in the mix when it's all said and done as well. And I met with Coach Turner a while ago to kind of see how she approached it, how she attacked it, and what she thought worked, and that is scheduling and what you do and things like that. So we've got a pretty good plan. We feel like going in, and of course we got to go and we got to compete, and hopefully.
Yeah, Coach. You guys again having an awesome season right now, 15-2 on the season. Big shoes to fill when you did step in there for Coach Turner, but you've done an outstanding job last year. Like you said, another state tournament appearance this year. I know you guys are looking to get back to that as well.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. I think time you look at a job, I know personally I'd much rather go into a place where there's a lot of high expectations and where there's pressure, rather than going into a place where there are no expectations and people are just happy if you're competing with a rival. I think pressure is a privilege, and I'm honored to be in this position. I'm honored to be able to coach the kind of team and the kind of kids we have, and I just try to make sure, do the best I can to make sure that I set the tone for how hard we have to work, and it's hard to do when you got some of the kids that work and love to be in the gym, but it's been a great. I think one of the things that made it such an easy adjustment is Coach Turner and I. We have extremely similar values. We both recognize that basketball and we're how well we do on the floor pales in comparison to what these kids go on to do and the kind of people they go on to be. So when we had those things aligned, it made it a pretty easy transition.
Well, let's talk about some of your players here. Alexis Burpo averaging 14.8 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game. Talk to me a little bit about her.
Yeah, I mean, she's just an athlete, man. There's no girls teams that are running lob plays, but we've got like 3 different lob plays in for her. She can just go up and go get it. She plays so much longer than she is. I'd hate to see where we'd be without her, because she makes up for a lot of that size differential that we face night in and night out. I think you saw at the Louisville Male game. We really struggled when down, and that length and that size of other teams really bothered us. But she nullifies some of that, and she's so athletic. She's passed all expectations that we could have had for as far as how much we needed her to play bigger than she is, and she's been awesome. In that she's fun to go watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was awesome to be able to watch her do her thing there at the Lexington Catholic tournament when we had the opportunity to watch her team play this year. Just big game after big game from her. Another one that had big games there was Alexandria Mays, and she's averaging 17.1 points per game. She's hitting 46% from 3, and got 74% from the line too, and then of course 4 rebounds per game. You gotta like that, Coach.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's nice to have senior guards who have been in big moments, who can knock down free throws. We feel pretty confidently if we've got a lead late that we can make good decisions with the basketball. We can if teams need to foul us, we're going to get to the free throw line. We're going to make our free throws. And then when there's pressure shots, she doesn't mind to take them. She's shooting at an extremely high clip. She's hovering around 50%. It changes each game. But, when you've got a kid that hits almost half their threes, it's a luxury. And, we've got a lot of stuff for her. And, when teams try to take away the three-point line from her, she's been phenomenal about carving teams up a little bit. I mean, she's really got she's gotten into the paint and caused problems and gotten to the free throw line probably more than I expected or anticipated. And it's been such a huge lift that teams can't just kind of run around and chase her out there, because she can just turn the corner and get to the rim. And, she's got a ton of backdoor, cuts and backdoor finishes. And, her ability to finish at the rim and get to the free throw line has really made her one of the tougher kids to guard in the state. And it's been a huge luxury to have.
Yeah, and she had big games there at Lexington Catholic's tournament as well, which I keep bringing up the Lexington Catholic tournament because, you all being an all-A school, you don't really see a lot of the all-A schools in that tournament because you're looking at state powerhouse teams that were in there. I believe they had 10 of the top 14 teams in that tournament. You guys finished runner-up in that. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, we would love to win it. Into that thing, we don't care that where we may not be as deep as some other teams, and we've only got 12 kids in the whole program, but we don't care. We just never want to be satisfied. Even when we got to the championship game, it was never we were never just happy to be there. And a lot of that goes back to how well Coach Turner has prepared them and the kind of mentality that this team has and the character it has. But, it was good for us to, tournament type advantage to get to do the All-A tournament as well. Every time you get to play with that pressure on you of tournament play, win in advance, I think that's huge. And the way we responded was great down in Lexington, and we felt like we were a few jump shots and maybe some Burpo foul trouble away from maybe beating Little Mail. We had a double-digit lead, right there at the 3-minute mark in the second quarter, and maybe it was fatigue or whatever it was, but we just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, and another player that we've definitely got to touch on, and we're going to touch on a few more here, but Maci Turley, she's a Kentucky Miss Basketball candidate. She really, the last couple of years that we've been able to see her in the Sweet 16, she's really taken that stage and kind of ran with it.
Yeah, it's hard to say that a Miss Basketball candidate doesn't get enough credit, but I really don't think she gets enough credit.
Exactly.
I think we're tucked away over here in the first region. Got to kind of forget about that at times. I think, we're so in love with the Louisville and Lexington area and the northern area that we forget what we have down here. And, Maci Turley's the kind of kid, if she thinks we need her to score 20, she'll go score 25. And if she thinks that she can get everybody else involved, she's just as happy with getting 10 assists and, not scoring. If she wanted to, she could put up just unreal numbers, but it's not about that for her. It's about it's flat out about winning.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to her is winning. It's not about Miss Basketball. It's not about first team All-State, any of those things. And but she is. I've coached enough of these kids in the summer. I've seen all the kids across the state in the summer and in the season, and I can promise you, she is one of the top 3 or 4 best players in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, and you I believe as Kentucky Premier, is that the AAU team that you coach?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've got another Miss Kentucky basketball candidate on that team as well. I believe in Sagan Robeson. Does she play for the same team?
Yeah, Sagan's on that team, and she's terrific as well. I would never discredit her. She's a phenomenal player. She's fun to watch, and a friend of mine that coaches her, and we both kind of talked a lot this summer. He also coached with Kentucky Premier, and we both kind of look at each other and like, we got a good thing going when you've got the kind of point guards that we have, and night in, night out, those kids are really good, and that they each do a little bit different things, but as far as the kind of talent they have and what they do, they're both really good.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. She's averaging right now 16.5 points per game. Talking about Maci Turley here, the Miss Kentucky basketball candidate, and I believe that however they finish when they do that voting, that 1 and 2 is going to be her and Sagan. However it ends up, I don't know, but those two right there, Coach, I'm pretty sure are going to be 1 and 2 when the ballot comes out. 89% free throw percentage, so she hits those free throws, and you can count on her at the line.
Oh man, we did a free throw fundraiser early in the year, and they shot 300 free throws. They keep track, and people donate whatever they donate for each free throw made. And I feel sorry for whoever donated for her, because she was like 296 out of 300 or something, just ridiculous, man. You got to think this kid plays as hard as she plays, and I can promise you she's never taken a playoff in her life, I think. But as hard as she plays, as many minutes as she plays, and the type of impact, pressure in the game, she's stepping up and she's shooting 90%. And it's just incredible to me that she can do that at that level. And I think she's shooting the 3 ball at up around 47% or 48%, something like that. Mm-hmm. And they're never forced. She could get a lot more up if she wanted to, but she just lets it come to her. And of course, like I mentioned, with her and Lex shooting free throws the way they shoot, we feel like we've got a double-digit lead, and it's late. We should be in really good shape.
All 3 players that we've talked about so far, now they've already committed to Murray State University, so they're going to go back and play with Coach Turner once again.
Yeah, what an awesome opportunity. How many people get to, you play alongside guys for a few years, and, you make the memories that last a lifetime, and you think, okay, we're all going to part our separate ways. And, then for this thing to kind of work out the way it did for them it's incredible. To get to be around some of your best friends for an 8-year stretch, to compete the way they've competed, to win all that they've won. They're going to go and do some great things in the OVC, and I'm excited to go watch them. When they cut the nets down there, whenever that time comes, I'll be their biggest fan then too. But it's really cool that they got to, in the nation. There's probably not another story like that out there.
No, this is definitely it's got the potential to be a book one day. I mean, it's definitely a great story. Touching on some more of these players on your team, and we'll talk about some role players here. Elizabeth Curtis, she's averaging 6.6 points per game for you.
Yeah, Lizzie's, she has made some crucial threes for us, and we don't want to put her in a box and say she's just a shooter, but probably what other teams are going to try to take away and say is that she's effective from the 3-point line. And we feel like, and she's kind of been up and down. She had a little bit of a slow start, but here in the last couple weeks, and I think she had a game or two in Lexington where she was really lighting it up. When she hits shots, it makes us really, really hard to beat. She's, I think, in the Graves County game, which was a big region rivalry game for us, she was 4 of 7 from 3. And, those are 4 huge pressure threes, and they were all contested. And then it turns around the next night and went 4 for 8 against McCracken. So, she's really been shooting it well. And if she shoots it like that, I hope she likes the rims in Richmond and can light it up there. And that'll make us, like I said, it makes us so much harder to defend because we already feel like we get up a lot of good threes and transition threes and things like that. But the thing that most people aren't going to know about her, just because they're not around every day, is she might be one of our smartest kids that we have. In the classroom, she's extremely bright. I think she's got a 4.3 or something. But on the floor, we can talk about a concept, and she never forgets it. When we ask questions in practice, she's always the first one to answer. She's the person we use to double the post just because she's so smart and she sees the whole floor and she's savvy. She reads defense as well. She knows, if they're switching, then she knows what looks we're looking for, and she'll talk to her teammates. If the other team's not switching, she knows what looks are there. And to have to have someone who's not one of your top scorers per se to be able to do all those things, that's huge for us. And she needs to get more credit for those things.
Yeah, and you talked about the atmosphere over there at Eastern Kentucky. I can tell you, Coach, just from experience, because we tend to do the 11th region there just about every year. The acoustics in that thing, when you hit one of those shots and it creates that string music, is amazing, and it just kind of sticks with you over there. It's got to be one of the best sounding gyms or arenas that we've personally ever been in as far as acoustics go in there. So I think it plays right in for your team whenever you do play over there. That you guys love the stage. We know that already about the Murray Tigers. So we'll see how that plays out over there. But I'm pretty sure you guys will love it. So Gearhart, she's averaging 2.3 points per game. Angela Gearhart for you, and she had a pretty good couple games there in Lexington Catholic too.
Yeah, she's a freshman, but you'd never know it. We saw it, in the summer. She made some just unbelievably tough shots this summer against some big-time teams from Tennessee, and we knew right then she was a gamer. She does everything well. She handles it well. She defends well. She rebounds it extremely well on both sides of the ball. And then the other thing is she's so malleable. We got in a little bit of a jam when Parker went down, but she picked up the slack. And I'm almost positive we've played her at every position on the floor. I mean, at some point this year, I know she's ran the point for us, and I know she's ran the 5. And for a freshman to be able to know 5 different spots from everything we run kind of blows me away sometimes. And, we were just in the heat of a game the other day, and I threw her in. I took a look around, and she's like our center. And she's like, you want me in the middle? I said, yeah, that's fine.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Just a freshman, Angela Gearhart, up-and-coming star there from the Murray Tigers program. What about Greer, 2.6 points per game? And is it Parker? Is that her first name?
Yeah, Parker.
Okay.
If they would, if they statted screen assists in the state, I could guarantee you she'd be one of the top 5, 10, probably one of the top 5 kids in the state in screen assists. She knows her role and she executed extremely well. She's a Division I soccer player. She's just a tremendous athlete, and she runs the floor. She usually defends the other team's biggest player, so she's used to getting sat on and leaned on and pushed on and everything else. Probably been cussed at a few times too, if I had to guess. But she just does the little things and gives us some extra toughness out there. She's just constantly looking to get someone open, and she does a wonderful job of it. There's an art to screening. Yeah. We try to, I think a lot of times as coaches, we take things for granted and we say, we'll go screen somebody. Okay, what does that entail? She got all the angles down well. She knows where shooters are, what kind of, she knows what the windows between the passer, the defender, and the rim are, and she really gets people open. I mean, we like to screen the backside of people in transition, and she never tips her hand and never goes early, and just really good in that regard. And we're glad we'll be having her back next year.
Who's some of the surprises that you've had on the team this year? Obviously, we talked about the freshman Gearhart, and then you're talking about Division I soccer player turned basketball player that is doing some things out there on the court that a team needs to be successful in Parker Greer. But who else has surprised you?
Well, sophomore Callie Carver has been, when Parker went down, Callie stepped into the starting lineup, and she gave us some rebounding. That she's a bigger body and strong kid that can finish. She's got a really nice jump shot on her. I expect that's something probably a lot of people don't know, but next year we're going to let her shoot. I mean, she's going to knock down some threes next year, and she's really in the absence of Parker, she's proven that she belongs. She's earned more time than she probably was getting before Parker got hurt. Because we just hadn't seen her, and we had, in big games and crucial moments. But now we have. She started in that Graves County game, and she's probably a 6 rebound a game kind of kid, and 3 to 6 points kind of kid, and protects the rim for us well. So that was it's got a huge boost for us. Losing Parker. You never want to see kids get hurt, but that really kind of made me feel a lot more comfortable about our depth, seeing her step up. And then the other one I would say is Mackenzie Turley. It's kind of it's Maci Turley's little sister.
Yeah.
And, until Parker got hurt, she also wasn't playing a ton of minutes. But she's just been on fire. I mean, the other day in a JV game, she had, I want to say she had like 15 points in the first half, and those are in 6-minute quarters. And she was probably, 4 or 5 from 3 or something in the first half. And they came out, I think it was a boxing chaser or something in a JV game, chasing her all over the place. So that was a good sign for our future. But she's also stepped up in varsity games. We put her in some meaningful minutes in varsity games, and she's not shied away. She's a big-time IQ kid. When she gets the speed of the game against the best teams, she's going to be really good. I mean, we've got some really good players that, aren't getting a ton of minutes, in certain games, but we're excited about our future. A lot of people, I'm sure, are gonna, think our, kind of run is over after this year, but we're just as excited to try to make another run next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're in the same situation. I'll bring up Coach Souter's team with Mercer County because I think everybody thinks them too. But when you go and look at the JV teams, they're actually really, really good, and a lot of people fail to, really get out there and watch those JV games. And there's certainly some talent that's coming up that a lot of people just don't know about yet, and they just kind of write you guys off.
Yeah, when you've got a great coach like Mercer County has, and you've got the kind of talent that's there, and he's no dummy either. He's building his depth. He's not going to be done competing at a high level. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them, as a competitor every year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in your program too, you guys got I would almost call it like a feeder system, just like Mercer County does, just like some of these other schools are catching on. Some of the, big city schools don't do it with the middle schools, but you probably coach or actively involved with the middle school, I would imagine, right?
We got a teacher at the high school to go into coach a middle school this year, so that way I could have, communication, making sure they're running kind of some of the things that we run, and they're hearing the same message. And we've already started working with our third through fifth, and some sixth graders once a week during the season. Me and my assistants, or just the assistants, are having skill sessions, and just trying to build a lot of buy-in at that level. We want to get kids. Murray is such an awesome place about sharing athletes. At an all-A school, you kind of have to do that. That's not always the case everywhere. Specialization is such a prominent thing right now, and I mean, I hate it, but it is what it is. And if a kid is going to pick one sport, I want them to pick my sport. I want them to play everything, whatever they love to do. I want them to do it for as long as they can, because there's Father Time catches up to all of us,
right.
And there's going to come a time where you don't get to do everything anymore. And so I want kids to enjoy that opportunity for as long as they can. But like I said, if for whatever reason they're just dead set on picking one sport, a lot of times they're going to pick that sport that they've been with for the longest, or that they've got a relationship with the coach, or whatever the case may be. So, we've got our third graders coming to games and sitting behind the bench. Shoot, we've got a couple fifth graders that sit on the bench during games, and we ask them if they want to, who they want to score, and we try to run plays for them and just get them involved as much as we can, to kind of build that up. And I think if you want to be good every year and you want to be good for a long time, that's something you have to do. But it does take a lot of work, and it does take a lot of time, and you're not going to see the fruits of those labor. But I'm a big believer that you got to focus on the root and not the fruit. It's easy right now for us to say, God, we've got all these players, we've got a bunch of Division I players, and we've got a top 5 team in the state, and that's all great and fine. But if you just focus on the root, or if you just focus on the fruit, then that root kind of withers and dies. So even though we're enjoying this run and we're going to keep enjoying it, we definitely haven't forgot about that root, and we're trying to cultivate that as best we can.
That's a great answer, Coach. And you see some of the great coaches in the state, that's how they run their programs. I'll throw another one that you've got 2 victories over this year, and that's Lincoln County. They do the same thing, and they're good year after year after year.
Man, they're good. They're good. They had us down 15 at our place with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I looked over at the bench and I said, guys, we're in trouble. And I said, we're in trouble. They had different kids making shot after shot, and they kind of really showed me, I knew they were a top 10 team, but it took everything we had to come back and win that game. And I told Coach McWhorter after the game that there's no reason they can't compete for a regional title this year, and next year they're not invited back to our tournament, because I don't want to play them next year. I mean, they're going to be good.
They're going to be loaded, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah.
You're right about that. So let's talk about this. I've witnessed this over the last, obviously during the holiday tournament, but I kind of got a taste of it during the Sweet 16s the last couple of years. You guys have the most amazing fans of any school, I think, that we've broadcast games for. I mean, just the outpour, the support, the thank yous, all the messages that we've got from just doing those few games has been pretty impressive. And I know, playing in front of that kind of a crowd that supports you every single game, that's got to be special.
It's awesome, man. I'm telling you, and it's in the air. It's in the air in Murray. It's the administration supports you to the nth degree. I've worked in places where you don't have that support, and I know how difficult it can be. And it's just the opposite here. It's unbelievable how our principal, Teresa Speed, she hugs every kid when they walk in the door every morning. I mean, it's just incredible. What she gives of herself to make this thing what it is. Our athletic director is what do you need? What can I help you with? And if you don't need me, I'll stay out of your way kind of guy. I mean, he's incredible to work for. And then the community, of course, you get that, I think, with some all-A schools. But, Murray in particular, they just really care about, they care about their basketball. It's Kentucky. Basketball is, what it is in the state of Kentucky and in Western Kentucky, it is king. And it's just so fun to have that behind us every game, no matter what. And, like you said, they were, I had every teacher and, different people in the community begging me to get a hold of you guys. And they said, man, we'll pay them if they'll go to the All-A, whatever we have to do. And, I'd say you guys got a lot of views from them during that tournament, but it's awesome. We've got, we may have 20 people in the crowd and it'll sound like 100 or, but at our home games, the gym's packed and it's fun, man.
It's almost like working for a college, isn't it?
It is the kind of support you get. I mean, really and truly. And I've coached at a Division II school, at a Division II college, and I can tell you, our fan base is. I mean, it's right there. It's pretty fun and it's special.
Wow, that's awesome, Coach. That's good to hear too. I actually been trying to get down there to where we can actually do a game. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Maybe next year we can get that planned out. But I'd love to just kind of let that sink in. Just being at a Murray Tiger game.
Come on down, man. They'll take care of you. I promise. They'll cook for you. If they know you're coming, they'll take care of you.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I think we touched on a little bit of everything here. The only thing that we didn't touch on, well, we did, before we started the show here tonight. But the Frankfort Civic Center, which you guys have a lot of history in, they're starting to tear it down today. As a matter of fact, the big chunk of the building was taken out today. What's your favorite memory in that building?
My first time coaching with an All-A school was actually last year. I was a boys assistant at Owensboro Catholic, and so that was my first time coaching in there. But I went as a spectator the year before, and it's not like anything else that we have in the state as far as a venue to play at. All the colleges, it's fun because it's a big arena, and we've got some nice arenas in the state. But there was just something about the Civic Center. It felt like just felt like a different venue. It felt like an event, not just a game. And I don't know if it was the way everything was set up, the line, the way people have to come into the arena and the back entrances for the teams and the cheerleaders and, how hospitable everyone is there that runs the All-A. At Frankfort, it was different. It was special. Like I said, it was, it had an air to it that I don't know that can be replaced. And I hate that it's not there anymore. But, hopefully we can make some new memories in Richmond and, hopefully make something that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys, you love the big stage, and especially Maci. I mean, she really turns it on when she's in front of all the cameras and the lights and everything. She's amazing to watch. At least the last few years, watching her in some of the big state tournament events has been awesome. And obviously Burpo and Mays too. You got to count them in with that. But Coach, it's been fun talking with you tonight, and really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. It's anytime you get an opportunity to kind of brag on your program a little bit, it's much appreciated. And it's not about me. It's about our kids. I mean, the culture that Coach Turner started, and hopefully we can embrace and continue to grow. I mean, it's special, and our kids, they deserve, all the praise and all the accolades they get. But thank you for having us. Thank you for the coverage. And, I won't give your cell phone number away to any of our fans because they'll be hunting you down if you don't go.
Trust me, they know how to get a hold of us. I got a lot of messages that have came in just since the time the show's been on. We've got a few actually. So, but yeah, Coach, I know that's really the only drawback I think from being in that part of the state is the Lexington market, the Louisville market. And even some of the Eastern Kentucky schools that are basketball schools don't really think Murray as a basketball school, even though you've got that history and you've proved yourself year after year. You guys are down in the first region. It's often forgot, and that's just sad, honestly, to just think about that. But you guys have certainly made the first region a name for itself through Murray basketball.
Well, I appreciate that, and we don't mind the extra motivation either.
Get out there and prove them wrong, Coach.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. I think I'll see you on the 24th over there at EKU.
All right, fantastic. We'll see you.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you. That was Coach Wyatt Foust of the Murray Tigers here tonight. And, hey, we got through the technology problems with all the weather going on right now. Just a ton of technology problems. But, hey, the interview went great. So thanks for Coach for his time. And we'll see you guys next time here on the PrepSpin podcast. I'm William Warfield.